It has been such an amazing basil year, and despite our record-breaking temperatures, by cutting this thing back regularly, I've managed to keep it from bolting and go to seed. And it's threatening to go to seed again. Now, you can still use it after it's flowered, but the flavor can change. So, since it is about to go to seed or attempt, I am going to give it a big old haircut, which is perfect timing because I just ran out of my favorite thing I like to make out of basil. So just a little tip when you are trimming back your basil. See how down the stem there are multiple areas where you kind of get a few branches coming out of the main stem. That's where you're going to want to cut. You're going to want to cut right here. So these two side shoots will become a new main stem and branch out. And every time you cut it like that, it branches out more and more and gives you a bushier and bushier plant instead of something super leggy. So you can see that, if I can get an angle, that is where I've cut back before. And these two main stems branched out and created more little armpits that I can cut from, and then these will branch out, and then I'll cut again, and so on and so forth. But let me grab a lot of basil. Well, that is a full basket. I mean, there is a basket in there, believe it or not. There you go. That is a full basket of basil. Look how much is left. Still so much, and we're getting some cooler weather, so it'll probably stop trying to go to seed for a little while and regrow again. Let me get this inside and show you my recipe. Let me wash it and remove all the leaves from the stems. This might take a while. This is quite a lot of basil. Oh, but it smells wonderful. All right, I got all the leaves separated from the stems, but I did notice that there was some aphid and caterpillar activity. So instead of just rinsing off the leaves, I'm actually gonna do a quick saltwater soak. Just mix some salt and water, some table salt and water together, and then soak all these leaves in it. Just make sure when you're done, you rinse it under fresh water really, really well so you don't get any of that residual salt changing the flavor. But a saltwater soak will get rid of any uninvited dinner guests. I really need to get a salad spinner. Anyway, so I need to let that dry a little bit because I don't have a salad spinner and we definitely don't want to be introducing a lot of water into this recipe. But I'm going to show you how I make my basil pesto. I know normally pesto is one of those things that you do not want to eat past 3 or 4 days after it's been made. It does not keep very long. But I don't want to go through all this work just to make enough for 1 or 2 meals and then have to do it again. Plus, I've got a lot of basil that I want to use, so the plant doesn't go to seed and go to waste. So I'm going to show you how I store it long term as well, and just make it so I can pop out a single serving or however much I need whenever I need it. Let me dry off some of that basil, and we'll get started here in a minute. All right, into a food processor or blender, 2 cups of tightly packed basil. So mash it down. 3/4 cups of Parmesan cheese, 1/2 cup of extra virgin olive oil, 2 large cloves of garlic, or however much your heart desires, 1/4 cup of lemon juice. Normally you would also add pine nuts, about 1/2 cup, but I prefer mine without, and it's delicious without regardless. So if you have nut allergies, you don't need to add them. And about 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, and then blend until your desired consistency. It's all up to preference at this point. And that is about the consistency I like it. And it's ready to use. So use it fresh for whatever you need for right now, and any leftovers, if you're going to use within the next couple days, put them in an airtight container in the fridge and put a very, very thin layer of olive oil on top, covering the entire surface. That'll keep it from oxidizing and turning brown and just looking disgusting. But if you want to store it long term, so you can just take a little bit here and there when you need it, as you need it, you can put it in the freezer. That's where these silicone flexible ice trays come in handy. You can just fill up each little cell, put a very thin layer of olive oil on top, cover it up, put it in the freezer, and as you need it, just pop out a single cell. You can probably do it in regular ice cube trays, but I have a feeling it would be kind of hard to pop out. But use whatever you got. Really any small container. The goal here is to get single-sized portions, so you don't have to try to take a chunk of frozen pesto and break it up into smaller pieces. Because this freezes very hard. It freezes like ice. But it also melts really fast. So if you pop out just a little cube from your ice cube tray or whatever you're using, you just throw it in whatever dish you are making as it's warm, and the heat of the dish will melt it. But it's fantastic to have just a little bit of refreshing flavor when you don't necessarily have a whole lot of time to cook every night. If you just want to throw together some pasta one night, throw a couple cubes of pesto in there. There's your meal. Or maybe you have some leftover chicken and you want to top it with some pesto, make a sandwich, spruce it up a little bit. Just grab a cube of pesto. Super, super easy to store long term. But again, always, no matter how you're storing it, top it with just a very thin layer of olive oil so it doesn't go brown and get oxidized. And honestly, it's disgusting looking. I'm just gonna fill my tray up. Make sure each cell has just a little bit of headspace so you can pour your olive oil on top. And that is ready for the freezer. And I'll usually make a double batch of this. The amount I picked today could easily make a triple batch, and I'll just freeze it so I have some quick and easy toppings to add to some meals when I'm in a hurry and don't feel like cooking. As always, delicious. Well, I have some more batches to make because multiple batches don't necessarily fit in my food processor, but I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you next time.